Now today we're going to talk about an interesting theory in Blue Lock, and that is what if Reo went to the wild card instead of Kunigami. Now the wild card was a program that the losers of Blue Lock went to redeem themselves. Kunigami was on a 2v2 with Reo before getting eliminated by Shido. Now at that time I feel like Kunigami was better than Reo and was only eliminated due to Shido not liking his hero dilemma. The most logical choice at that time would have been to choose Kunigami and have Reo go home, as Reo was completely lost after losing to Nagi. Now if Reo had went to the wild card instead, I feel like this would have been a completely different Reo than who we have now, just like Kunigami. Reo was great for his chameleon ability, and with wildcard training he could have very well been the best player in Blue Lock with his talent. Now looking back on Ego announcing that there was a wildcard, he said that he forced different philosophies on different players. This could be that not only Kunigami was to become Noah Noah, but there were other players who Ego was trying to turn into someone else possibly. With real skills though, he could have copied all of them and his skills would have been greatly affected. If he forced, like, let's say Chris Prince's philosophy of body revolution early on, he could have granted him some huge firepower on offense, but he also could have trained him with Noel Noah's skills to become ambidextrous as well. I don't know how well Rio's body would be able to keep up with the training for the wild card, but his talent could have definitely got him there. Rio really needed a push towards the second selection and he needed to learn how to fight on his own. His dream of going to the World Cup would have been shattered had he had got eliminated, and going to the wild card would have put a new perspective on him. He tried so hard to defeat Nagi and make him say that he needs him, but he could just not defeat Nagi as he partnered with the Sagi. He's in complete shock from the words that Nagi told him and he never really recovers in the second selection. I would assume Rio would have these same thoughts just like Kunigami, wondering just what he was lacking and did he do something wrong. These would be the internal thought process that would go on to change Kunigami later on, and it would have done the same to Rio. Now if Rio went to the wild card, he would have missed the third selection in the under 20 match, and he was a viable weapon in the under 20 match to be able to stop Shido and Sae. Rio was watching the under 20 defenders the whole match and was able to cover their skills mid-game to be able to stop Shido. I don't know how the match would have played out had Rio not been there, but that's for another story. Now Rio's greatest skill is his chameleon ability. He can emulate other players' skills and reach 99% of their power. With his new wildcard enhancements, I think he would have learned higher level skills like those from Toshi Sae and maybe even the world class players at an earlier rate. Like for instance, say if Rio could copy Kaiser Impact, but obviously not at its full impact, as no one can do Kaiser Impact except for Kaiser. With Rio's newfound enhancement, he could be the most dangerous person in Blue Lock. All of his physical attributes would have been increased and he could have done some real damage to others as he continues on in Blue Lock. Rio eventually does learn Neo Chameleon Strike mode, which allows him to move like a striker and score his own goals, and this is what Rio needed to have during the second selection. His insight and focus on players is amazing, and he really can copy a player's ability by seeing it just a few more times or even one time. After watching Asagi in the game, Rio also starts to subconsciously gain metavision. This is huge as metavision is not something a lot of players can even have, and Asagi gained it during the Manshine match, and then Rio gradually gets it in the same match as well. He was very close to stopping the last shot attack from Yukimiya, but it still showcases the potential of Rio once he starts to keep an eye of every player and their abilities. He even was able to react faster than Chris Prince and Noah Noah in a lost ball, and this shocks everyone. His body can keep up due to the body revolution, and the wildcard would have helped with that as well. We have seen the drastic effects of the wildcard for Kunigami and how it has transcended him into an egotistical striker who scores goals. I can only imagine how this would have been for Rio and what kind of player he would become if he was actually in Blue Lock to become the world's best striker. Now let's talk about Rio's personality if he went through the wildcard. I think Rio would be closed off and silent just like Kunigami because of what he went through in the wildcard. Now we don't know exactly what he went through, but it must have been tough as Kunigami no longer smiles and looks completely empty, like a soldier moving on the field. Rio could have turned out exactly like this, and I think it would have been even worse for Rio. Rio comes from a billionaire family and he was always good at everything. He never had a problem with much and his talents were great everywhere. To be sent off in the wildcard would have been a huge challenge for him, and his mentality and persona would have changed. He wouldn't be so nice and gloomy, but instead cold and closed off. His motto would now be to become the best striker in the world, and he would now have the ego to match, something that he was lacking from before. Now after Rio would finish the wildcard, the question is what team would he be on? Now Kunigami was put in Moonchen because he was copying Noah Noah, but say Rio was not exactly copying Noah Noah, what team would he go to? Now Rio picked England because he likes the teams from there and it smells like money. But say he no longer holds any attachment to money or things like that since entering the wildcard. I think very well that he could have been sent to Moonchen or PXG. Now Moonchen makes sense as Kunigami also got sent there, and Ego could send Rio there to see more of Kaiser and Noah Noah and to copy their abilities. But also PXG makes sense because they have rising superstars, and Rio would be able to be put to the test in the environment with Rin and Shido with his newfound ego to try and copy their abilities and take over the team. This is just a theory, so I leave that part of which team he would get sent to you guys in the comments. If Rio participated in the wildcard instead of Kunigami, it is likely he would bring a new level of energy and skill to the tournament. Rio is a highly skilled striker with exceptional speed, technique, and goal scoring abilities. His performances in the Blue Lock tournament have been nothing short of impressive. demonstrating his talent and determination on the field. In the wildcard, he would undoubtedly be a force to be reckoned with, and his presence would make the competition even more exciting. One of the key advantages that Reo would bring to the wildcard is his versatility. He's capable of playing multiple positions, and his ability to adapt to different situations and game plans would be invaluable to any team. Also, his confidence and competitiveness will help to motivate and inspire his teammates, creating a positive and dynamic atmosphere on the field. That being said, there are no guarantees in the wildcard. Even the most talented players can struggle to perform under pressure or face unexpected setbacks. The wildcard is a highly competitive event, and there are numerous factors that can impact the outcome of a game. Reo all around has been an amazing player, and he continues to get better in our eyes. I'm glad he is finally understanding his own ego, and now has become a huge staple to Blue Lock, and I have no doubt that he will be a starter for the World Cup with the rate he's going at. The wildcard still has many mysteries, and I hope we can get a full backstory on exactly what happened in there and who were the participants that almost crawled their way back. As Blue Lock continues into NEL, we still have many theories and unsolved problems that we all want to know, and for now it's fine because Blue Lock continues to give us peak fiction week after week. Let me know how you guys feel about this theory, and what other theories would you want me to cover. Well, I thank you guys for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back in the next one. Peace.